We're going to do this one here, 431, source level debugging. So the first thing we have to do is write some code. Now I've already installed Visual Studio. I think I've installed Visual Studio 2022. Doesn't really matter what version you have. And then I'm going to compile C++ code. So I'm going to use the command line compiler, which is simpler. It's essentially the same thing as GCC. So you go to the list of all apps and go down to Visual Studio and expand the container. And now you'll find, x86 native tools command prompt, which is pretty interesting because I'm running on an ARM processor, but it does apparently support cross-compiling. So I can make 32-bit Intel code on an ARM processor and even run it on an ARM processor, so that's pretty nice. So this is a goofy way of using the command line, but it is what you have to do. You have to open this special command line because then it will create the environment where this tool will run. So anyway, now that I'm there, now I create a folder. I think I've already done it, called My App. Maybe not. Good. Okay, so we'll make dir C My App. All right, and then go there. And then Notepad, My App.cpp for C++. I got to spell Notepad correctly, however. All right, now I'm going to create a new file. There it is. And I'm going to put in this code here. Just a very simple C program that manipulates a few variables so I can play with them. All right, so I save this and close Notepad. And now I can compile it with just CL. Microsoft's compiler, myapp.cpp. So there it goes, creating an exe file and an object file. So if I do a directory, I'll see there's three files. There's the CPP source code, the exe executable, and the object code, which is the compiled code I wrote without the libraries linked into it yet. So this was used to create the executable code. It's not run by itself. Now we can use WinDebug. All right, and I don't know, I suppose x86 might be all right. Let's see. Looks like it will be. All right. And now I'm going to open it. So File, Launch Executable. It's Open Executable in this version, the ARM version of WinDebug. And now I go to my folder, which is C, My App, and My App. All right. The app loads. It's here in this command prompt. And here's the information here, and let me try to change the font. I've got to make this one smaller so I can get to the view font. Okay. Now I can get to a more readable font. There we go. All right, so it has loaded the program and hit a breakpoint. It shows you where the symbols are coming from. And here's the break instruction exception. First chance, here's the EAX, EBX registers and so on. Here's the actual break command itself, which is CC int3, the standard x86 break command. So that's good. And I should be able to make this use only part of the screen. Well, this is the window I want, so I'll just expand it this way. There we go. Now I should be able to see what I'm doing and also see the instructions more or less. All right, so now we're going to find the symbols here, main, X, my app, bang, main, star main, star, and I should have seen no results. In fact, I'm seeing a bunch of syntax errors and stuff, which is confusing me quite a lot. I don't know why it's giving me syntax errors. It looks like it's trying to do source code debugging. It's looking at the C source code. Perhaps I didn't run the right program. I probably ran the CPP instead of the exe. So let me try this again. File, launch executable. It's opening a source file. That's not what I want. Well, what's going on here? Maybe I shouldn't be using the x86. Let me see what else I've got. I made a shortcut on my desktop to the right one. Here's the right one. Okay, let me point out what's going on here. I wondered if I was doing the wrong thing, and I think I was. If I go to Properties, which are here, I made a shortcut to it. This is where you have to go to launch the working debugger on an ARM machine. Microsoft will put shortcuts in a stupid place where you can't get them. You have to go to C Program Files x86 as if it was 32-bit Intel, then Windows Kits 10 Debugger, then ARM64, then WinDebug. So it's very strange. The 64-bit debuggers for ARM are inside the directory for the 32-bit programs for Intel, but that's where they are. So now if I run this one, I think I'll get better results. Now I'm running the ARM64 debugger. Now I can do File, Open Executable, and there's my app, and it's an executable. Okay. Okay. And let's make the font bigger again, because it doesn't remember. All right, let's see if we're going to get better results now. Now, the thing I was trying to do, let me get this to cover about half the screen. There we go. And over here should be the instructions. All right. Now I wanted to try to find symbols, X, my app, star, a bang, star, main, star. There we go. Ah, good. Now I don't get a bunch of source code. Somehow I was looking at source code before. I just get no results. Now, this is because I don't have symbols. In fact, if I just choose my app star, bang star, looking for all the named locations in my app, there are none. That's what you get for compiling it without symbols, which is the default. So, we can fix this. If we do LM, you can see the problem, which is you'd see some of these things have symbols. There, this one here, NT has symbols, but none of the rest of them have symbols. And my app in particular has no symbols. So I can't refer to any named locations in it, like not even main or anything, so I'm going to have to recompile it. So we're going to have to close WinDebug to unlock this thing. And now we're going to recompile it. So let's go back to here. Let's delete these other things. Control-C, del. I said Control-C. Okay, del, my app. Come on. Del space, space is somehow del, my app. Okay, there we are. Not the C, but the exe. Now del, my, and the object, we're going to remove that too, and we're going to compile it with the switch ZI. That will save symbols. There we are. So now it compiles, and notice the /debug here. So now if you do a directory, it has created not only a CPP, the source code, the exe, and the object, but it's created these PDB files, which are the symbols. So now we can do source code debugging with symbols. So let's launch WinDebug again, which is here. All right. And might as well make this smaller. All right. Now we do File, Open Executable, and there it is. All right, and now View Font. All right. And now try and make this window bigger. It's giving me grief. There we go. All right. Now, we should be able to find the symbols. X, my app. Bang, star, main, star. And now there's a bunch of locations in there with main in the name. All right. So you can see the actual entry point is my app bang main because C programs have main as their starting routine, so that's what it is. So I can put a breakpoint there. Be break, I think unconditional. Anyway, BU is the right way to make a breakpoint. My app bang main. When we loaded the program, it did what debuggers always do. It stopped somewhere early in the process of Windows loading it. It didn't really stop at the beginning of the code I wrote, which is what I want it to do. So now we can run. There isn't any go button in this one. You have to type G. But if you're using my X Intel processor, you'll have a different version of WinDebug that gives you a go button. So I can run, and there's the app launching, and there it is hitting the breakpoint. So it has moved forward to the breakpoint. All right, and now here, the top left pane shows C++ source code if you're on an Intel processor. In this case, I'm actually not sure how I'm going to see the source code. Actually, I may have a problem demonstrating on this machine. Let's see. If I have view source, perhaps. BOS output. I think I may be in trouble. I can view locals and memory and scratchpad. There may not be a way to do source code debugging with this version of WinDebug. There was an open source file. Let's just try this. Open source file. There it is. Okay, and now that I've done that, let's see what this is. Set instruction pointer to current time, edit this file, disassemble, set source language. Well, C would be fine, okay. And now maybe there's going to be a view source somewhere. Here. It seems to think there is a source window. Seems to think I'm looking at it, but this is the exe. Let's try minimizing this one, or somehow shrinking it if it'll let me move it or something. There we go. There it is. There's the source code. It's in another window back there. All right, so you can still do the job. That's what I thought. It's just a little more confusing. There we are. So there's the source code. All right. Now we can be able to view the local variables. I saw them here, locals. And there they are. All right. So now we should be able to run the program, which we can do by going down here and entering a G for go. If I can get this thing to sit somewhere where I can use it. All right, I'm getting there gradually. All right, there we go. Now I can run it with a go. And if I look here, here it is running. Thought it might have put something out, but I think I've just run to my breakpoint. Let's see. Yeah, it's still seems to have stopped at a breakpoint. Okay. Yeah, here's my variables. There you are. And for some reason, I'm seeing them in like hexadecimal instead of friendly values. I might be able to fix that, but maybe not. Right-click, doesn't do anything. Okay. Typecast location, display 16-bit values. Okay. Anyway, we're going to see how it looks in these old-fashioned things. We're still going to be able to get the job done, I think. So here's what local variables look like. It's showing them in some very unfriendly format. If you get the more modern version of Windows, it will show you they both have 0. So this, I guess, is 0. I don't know what this 0n garbage is. And there may be some way to change the format, but I'm not going to hunt for that in here. So the point is now, we should be able to step through the code. There should be step into. Now, I don't think I have a step into button here, but I might have it in the menu. I do. Step into F11 or F8. Okay. So we can step into, and the source code there ought to show me what line I'm on. But yes, it does. It's highlighted the line I'm on. Let me try and get this thing to move to the left. There, it's very hard to do. Okay, there we are. So I'm on this code here, see? And now if I step into again, with debug step into, It moves to the next line. So this is now 2. Okay, so it was some kind of uninitialized value before, I guess. And now it has been turned into 2, which is good. And long b equals 0, the next step into should fill b with 0, which is debug step into on this machine. All right, good. So now it's filled them with 2 and 0, so we're making progress. Okay. Now, step into many more times until it executes source line 5, and then it will crash. So let's try that. Debug step into, and that's F11. I'm going to try pressing F11 and see if that works. Function F11. Nope, doesn't work. Yeah, probably not in this virtual machines and everything. Anyway, step into. See, now I've got more variables. I think I'm up here. I just entered my function. Debug step into. Okay, now it's about ready to calculate x. X is starting out with some random number, but it's about to turn it into P1 plus T2 plus P3, the sum of the 3 parameters that came in. Debug step into. All right, so now it's turned into 7, which is the sum of those 3 numbers. And now, when I do another step into it, it's going to go down to that command, which is going to attempt to divide by P2, but P2 is 0. So this should give me a divide by 0 error. And it does. And here you get the error integer divide by 0. All right, so that's working. You get a crash message. All right. So that's all I wanted to show you. That's the joy of source code debugging. And it is really much easier if you get the new version of WinDebug, which is only available for the Intel processor. But as you see, you can also do it on the ARM processor. And that's what I wanted to show you. Let me stop this recording.